welcome to How to Profit. I have the incredible Jeff Lopez in the house today. Actually, I'm in your house in your awesome studio.
Howdy, howdy.
You run a lot of different businesses, and I'm inspired by everything you guys are doing. So I just wanted to kind of walk through a journey. We're going to talk a lot about your background, also all the companies you run, how to make your first dollar online, all those kind of things. So I think really this show is about talking more about how we actually make money as a business and not being ashamed of making a profit, because you can do a lot of great things with your profit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the more profit you make, the more people you can help. That's how
Exactly.
you got to look at it.
So I know that you run Plus Plus Media, Alpha Clicks, which is a software that helps people get more leads and convert those into sales with AI. You also have a lot of things in the medical field. So can you tell me just kind of an outlay of the businesses that you can think of that you run?
Yeah, absolutely. So Plus Plus is the main company. It's kind of the umbrella over everything. What happened with Plus Plus is we started out as a marketing agency, specifically working with chiropractors, med spa, health and wellness type businesses. Quickly morphed into, oh, these people need more than just leads. They need to learn how to sell to these leads. And then when we taught them how to sell to the leads, now they're like, okay, well, what supplement should I sell with these packages? So I was like, oh, another hole. Let's fill that. So then we birthed a supplement company. We got really good at what we were doing, which caught the attention of some other like medical device manufacturers because we built a pretty big network, and we were able to partner with the medical supply manufacturer. So we have a company that's in the red light business space. We sell supplements. So we have a supplement line that's doing pretty well with health practitioners. We have a marketing agency. We have a coaching company. Again, these are kind of all under the umbrella. Some of them are separate entities. And then Alpha Clicks is the newest thing. So we're starting to venture out into helping more, not niche businesses, but like pretty much any small business with AI and automations. I think that's pretty much it. I'm probably forgetting something, but yeah, those are like the core 4 or 5 companies that we have.
Awesome. And it didn't start that way, though. I know in your background, you're not a stranger to sales. You did some stuff in mall kiosks and things. Can you tell a little bit about the origins of your
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely ask questions. I can go as granular as you'd like. So my background, I used to sell cell phones. That was like the gig when I was like younger, was working for Sprint, made a lot of money when I was like 18, and pretty much moved up the ranks there, was making really good money at 18 years old, was over $100,000 a year. And this is back 15 years ago when $100,000 was close to $1 million in Kansas, but was going really well with that. My dad, unfortunately, had went to prison. I was helping my mom support me and my 4 sisters. So I had to make more money, and they came to me and like talked to me about district manager. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. But they're like, okay, we got to let you know before we start putting you in training, like you got to be willing to move at the drop of a pen. And like, these are the exact words. They're like, we want you in California, you got to go to California. If we want you in Ohio, you got to go to Ohio. And no offense to anybody out there in Ohio, I'm from Kansas, so it's not like it's much better. But when they said Ohio, I was like, no, thank you. I've never been there, so I can't say it's good or bad. But just not being in control of my own destiny was not cool for me. So I started looking into other things like, what are other opportunities to make money, and found a company selling accessories where I could be like a licensee or a franchisee. So I opened up a mall kiosk. I was trying to open in Kansas because I was trying to stay by my family. Kansas territory was taken. Next was Oklahoma. Oklahoma territory was taken. Next was Dallas because I knew people in Dallas. Dallas was taken. So I just kept going down I-35 pretty much, not physically, but the next was San Antonio was the next major city. So we went out there, checked out the malls, almost signed a lease. And I was like, you know what, let's check out Austin because I feel like I'm going to expand fast. Came out here to Austin, went to Barton Creek Square, happened to meet a lady by the name of Joyce. If she ever watches this, thank you, been instrumental in my life. But talked to her, and like we signed a lease pretty much on the spot, opened a kiosk in Austin, Texas at Barton Creek Square. And this was like, mind you, I was 21 at the time, and I was making really good money, like made like $25,000 my first month at a mall kiosk, like, which is crazy. And that's just crazy to think you can make that much money at 21 years old before social media and all that. Anyways, grew that. I don't know if Ian, do you remember how many locations we had? It's like 13 or 14 at our height. Okay, so we had like 13 or 14 locations. In a nutshell, we grew across Texas. As soon as I couldn't expand in Austin or Houston anymore, we went to Seattle. Stupid decision, by the way, not just Seattle as a whole, but like having stuff in Texas and then having to fly back and forth to Seattle. And then it gets worse. Then I took over stores in Tampa, Florida, but we had like 13 locations across 3 states, spreading myself very thin. I mean, it still was doing decent, but got very ambitious. Like I caught the attention of the franchise or the license company, and then they brought me in to do like consulting for their other locations that were underperforming. So I was like, oh, this is a big gig. We started talking about ownership percentages, gave my stores to my employees thinking they were going to run them like me, ran them into the ground. Horrible, horrible mistake. Don't ever do anything like that. But that started kind of a weird little turn in my life. And yeah, I actually became a rapper after that. So if we
Yeah.
can get into that, but
Yeah, I heard about that. So you came to Houston, you were like, I'm gonna like, had you always wanted to do that, or is that just something you just came across and went for it?
well, so I'm trying to think back like what my mindset was like back then. I always loved music, especially hip hop, still to this day. I think all of us, grow up just really passionate about music. Music helped me get through a lot of stuff I was going through. Like my dad went to prison. Music would like help me zone out and just not think about like my circumstances. So always had a big affinity for music. When I moved to Houston, hip hop scene was pretty big there. I grew up to like Mike Jones, Slim
Yeah,
Thug,
yeah.
like these people. And I don't know how it started. Oh, yeah, I was getting in the music scene. And actually, oh, sorry, I'm thinking of it now. Look at Ian over here because he knows the whole story. But one of my employees at my cell phone repair kiosk, he did music and he was actually from here. And I'm not going to mention names because the story doesn't end well. But anyways, he brought me aside. He's like, hey, he's like, I want you to be my manager for music. And I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about music, but I was like, I tell you what, you do a good job for me. I'll see if I can help you in any way, shape, or form. He started doing really well. So like I owed it to him to like, okay, let's check this out. Listen to his music. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, dude, you could be the next Drake. Like, and it was cool. So I was like, you know what? I'm doing well. We got to get you out to Houston where the music is. Brought him out to Houston, found a producer here in Austin, moved the producer out to Austin or from Austin to Houston, bought all this recording studio, got this new apartment just to make it a recording studio and like had them working. Fast forward, I don't know, 6 months or a year or something, he gets like addicted to meth. Again, that's why I don't want to mention names. But anyways, I only say all that story because like I just invested in this music producer. I have all this equipment and like I'm a curious person. Like I was watching them, learning it, and I learned how to mix and like engineer music and it was fun. But then after that happened, I was like, you know what? I was just playing around one day. I was like, let me see what a song sounds like if I make one. So I wrote one, made it, and it's probably because they were my employees. They're probably just gassing me up. But I was like, yo, how's this sound? How's this sound? And they're like, oh my God, that's you? That's you? Like, yeah, it's me. Like, so they were probably gassing me up way more than they should because they were on my payroll. But but anyways, I started doing music. And then I'm always the type like path of least resistance. How can I reach more people faster? I wasn't trying to start and, sell CDs out of my trunk. Like, that was like the thing when I came up listening to music. That's how people got big. I was like, you know what? I got money. I am in a nice little network of business owners in Houston. I saw and I followed Slim Thug. I followed all these people and I noticed that he started working out with this personal trainer. And I was like, oh, that's my door to Slim Thug. Let me hit up this personal trainer. I'm gonna start working out with his personal trainer. So I did. Shout out to Milton. Milton's amazing. Also another instrumental person in my life. But anyways, Milton's his best friend slash personal trainer. I started working out with him. And then I started changing my time like every week that I would come work out because I was trying to see like when Slim Thug and Bun B and all these people were going to be there. And then like I finally found what time they came because like I was leaving and then they were coming in. So then like a couple of weeks went by, I kept that same time. So, hopefully brush shoulders with Slim Thug or Bun B or Kirk O'Bangs. But anyways, one week I was like, hey, I can't make any other time. This is the only time I can make. I knew what time they came. So I was like, he's like, oh, if you don't mind working out in a group. I was like, who's in the group? He's like, oh, Slim, Bun, Kirko. And I was like, I guess I could do that. So I started working out with them and I was like, hey, this time really works well for me. Got really cool with like Slim Thug and man, shout out to Slim. Also have done a ton of stuff for him. I designed album covers for him, logos, like all kinds of stuff, did a website for them. But anyways, super cool. He invited me out to the studio one night because he knew I was doing music. He saw, I was going hard in the gym and he invited me out to do the studio one night. And then I was like, oh man, like real studio, real producers, real engineers. And it was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So, but severely, severely underestimated making money in music versus making money from an actual business. And it was catastrophic over the course of a few years. Like I ran through all my money that I'd made, got evicted from a high-rise condo, trying to be a rapper. Yeah, it was crazy. But
Yeah.
in a nutshell, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good. And
You're making me relive all this, and
no,
it's cool. And
I think it has a lot of correlation to stuff you're doing now. But little side note, I just had a burger from Bun B's new shop, and
oh,
that
did you?
stuff was so good.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I haven't got a chance to
yeah.
check it
I
out.
mean, that stuff's expensive for a burger, but it was. I was like, dang, that's a good burger.
Well, I'm glad they got some. Shout out to Bun and Queenie, his wife, too.
Yeah,
Great. So,
yeah.
man.
Awesome. So you come from the music industry, and then how do you go from there? And I know you've mentioned like the studio getting shot at and stuff like that. So like, where is the pivot point from like, okay, I got to get into agency stuff and internet marketing and that side?
Gotcha. Yeah. So it didn't happen exactly like that. Like, how do I get into agency and marketing? So I was trying to be a rapper, right? Like, Bun invited me out to the studio. I was like, yeah, this is the life I want to live. I guess the other part I forgot to mention is like, going to the studio turned into, hey, we got a section at the club, come get bottles. And like, we're pulling up to the club and Rolls Royces and stuff. And I'm just like, dang, I'm living this lifestyle, but not making the income to support that lifestyle. So I quickly ran through my money really quick because keeping up with these celebrities and their expensive tastes, I thought I was making good money. Nah, like Slim is, he's still making good money this day. Again, shout out, respect to what he's doing. But anyway, so like I ran through my money and I was like, oh crap, I need to figure out how to make money. I was really good at mixing music. So I started working and mixing people's music. But again, I wasn't able to keep up with like my luxury condo. And, so I lost that. And then because I had connections in the music industry, I ended up moving into a studio as their engineer. But I was like, hey, if you let me live here, like I'll, I'll work and do some, engineering and stuff. So was doing that, got really good, worked with pretty much all the big names in Houston. I had a track that I mixed debut on Drake's OVO Sound Radio. Our studio brought in the producer that worked on Yosemite. We got platinum plaques for Astro World. But anyways, everything sounded good in theory, backstage at all these concerts and living the life, quote unquote. But everything that you hear about in hip hop, well, that type of hip hop, that's like real stuff. The studio is like on the edge of Third Ward. I got a lot of people I appreciate in Third Ward, but it's a rough place. And literally the studio got shot up a total of 3 times. But on the third time, like I was literally in the front, like painting the room green because we're going to make a green screen room. And a bullet came through the wall like 6 inches away from me. And like, I was like, oh, I didn't really know what it was. And then I like jumped down, I go to the back and we have like this big TV in the back, which has cameras in the front. And like all my producers and engineers are just looking up the screen. Like, I'm like, what? They're like, dude just shot dude. And I'm like, what? Like that was what came through. And like went out there and then literally dude had got shot 5 times, like on my photographer's, it was on his car, should literally like bleeding out. And I'm like, dude shot. He's literally right here. I'm like, yo, dude, sorry, but like, get up. We got to go. Like, I'm not trying to be here. I don't want to be wrong place, wrong time. I'm not trying to answer questions. Like, I don't know what happened. I just don't want to be here. So anyway, and then the car pulls up, the dude that shot him, and like, literally just like, I'm right here. He's right here. And I'm like looking at the barrel of this Glock right here. And then I was like, just ran. And then I was like, okay, that night, like, first off, I was like, just distraught for like 2 hours. Like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? Like, I used to run kiosks in malls. Like, now I might end up at a crime scene or part of the crime scene by accident. So that night I was like, man, how to make money online. And what I found was Dan Henry. Shout out to Dan Henry. I bootlegged his course to begin with, but I paid him lots of money since, so we should be good. And then RussellBrunson.com secrets. So I started going through that, and I think it was Dan Henry's webinar, and he's like, oh, this new thing and how to sell. If you can bring business to these companies, they'll pay you money. And I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. So that's what got me into like the whole digital marketing world. And again, like it was like, I figure this out, or I'm probably going to get shot by accident or end up taking the, charge for something I didn't do. So I was like, I got to get out of this lifestyle. So I was trying for, man, I don't know, 3-4 months, like trying to find a client, trying to figure out how to, but I didn't know at the time, like, working in the hood, like I developed a little bit of a kind of a hood look. So like it was a little harder to land clients, but I finally ended up getting the courage to ask my girlfriend at the time's dad to give me enough money to like move back to Kansas to my grandparents' basement. And then ended up, again, it took me like another 3 months after I moved back because I didn't know what to say to business owners. I never ran ads before, wasn't confident in my service. But then I finally landed a client, and it was one of those things like, man, my car is about to get repossessed. Like I was like literally like 2 weeks away from my car getting repossessed. Ian, he's behind the camera here. He was paying for my phone bill, which is like never happened. And is like, I'm usually the one taking care of people around me. And it was just crazy. But anyways, I closed a $297 funnel build. Cried that day. Swear to God, cried. Like, cause it was like, oh my God, I can make money online. Next day, closed a $1,500 deal. Month, probably 45 days. I know I made like 40 grand in like 45 days. And within 6 months, like from February 13th or February, yeah, that was the first time I made money online, to end of August, I made it like $242,000, with August being over $100,000 like in that month. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm doing this agency thing. So I know that was a really, really long-winded answer, but
No, that's, I think a lot of times we just see the highlights, but we don't actually see the tough parts of that. So you're going from Rolls Royces, clubs, backstage, like living a life that a lot of people sometimes aspire to have.
Mhm.
And then the reality of, okay, this is also a scary situation. And I'm not making their money. I'm not
doing
making
this
the
for
money that
pennies
they're
on the dollar,
making. Yeah.
life on the line.
So then going all the way back to living in a basement in your grandparents' place. What are those first few nights like? Like,
Man, so and again, my dad went to prison. He got like 65 years. So I literally thought I was never going to see my dad again, like outside of prison. But he had, around the same time, I think he had gotten out 6 months or a year before I ended up going back. But I only say that to preface it because he was living in the same basement that I was living in. Like, I didn't come from money. So, like, no offense to my grandma and anything, but it's like a very small house, not so great part of town. But like the downstairs is just like one big room. So my dad has a bed where, like, your living room should probably be if you're, have a house in Kansas like that. So he's sleeping on that. I have like, again, I'm not trying to knock my people, but like the couch is not the nicest couch, not very comfortable. And I'm trying to sleep on this thing, messed up back. And my dad snores like a freaking bear. So like, yeah, that was a very different change. Cause mind you, like before I moved in the studio, like it was like luxury condos for like the last 5-7 years of my life, in multiple places. Like, I had a place in Austin, place in Houston. So going from that to that, very drastic. And that was another motivator. Like, I got to figure this out. Like, this is not me. Like, I make money. I do what I want to do. And again, I hope nobody takes that the wrong way, but it's like at 30 years old, it's like, I felt so powerless, like being in that situation. And my mom gave me $20 every few days, like in buying gas station food, but like she didn't have a lot of money to give me. So, but she's good now. We take care of mom, but yeah, so very, very different scenario.
and you're going to, I think you said on a previous show, Hertz Donuts
yeah. Dang, that's crazy. Okay, you did some research.
So you're going down to these spots like 24-hour donut shop, coffee shop.
One spot. So sorry, I gotta shout out to Hertz. They're probably never gonna watch this, but that was the only place in Wichita, Kansas at the time, and this is 2019, 2018. Only place that's 24 hours and had Wi-Fi. The only reason I'm going to a donut shop every night, but like, and when I say every night, I was there every night. I had books every night. My dad, like, he thought I was lying. Like, first off, come from prison, he probably think everything like not what it's supposed to be. You up to something. He thought I was up to no good. He's like, you mean to tell me you're going to a donut shop in the middle of the night reading books? Yeah, like, who does that? And like, for real, he had so many conversations. He's like, you're gonna have to get a job here before, like, you have to get a job. But like, that was the only place, and that was the only place I can get quiet because he's snoring like crazy upstairs. My grandma's not very mobile, so she's like sleeping in the living room on a couch, wakes up to paranoid for any little sound. So it's like there was no peace. It was like I had to go to a donut shop every night to work. So
that's awesome. And so Dan Henry, who I've been following for many, many years, he's helped a lot of people get into the industry. And then Russel Brunson, I've read every one of his books. People love him, people hate him, but you can't deny that his books have transformed a lot of people's lives and opened their minds to what's possible out there in internet marketing and just sales funnels in general.
Oh yeah. And if, first off, anybody's hating on Russel Brunson, you're just a hater. Like, whether you like him or not, like, you got to respect. I look at any business owner that's done more than me. Like, there's always something to learn from these people and admire from them. Like, their hustle's better than yours. If they're bigger than you, their hustle's better than you. So you got to figure out what it is that they're doing and mimic it or replicate it. He's just obviously the most well-known in our industry because he built his business the right way. So again, whether you prefer ClickFunnels or HighLevel, these other softwares, I mean, you can't deny what, like, I mean, he birthed pretty much the whole current wave of internet marketers.
Yeah. Now, you talked about, from the music industry, you talked about how you went to that celebrity trainer and that was your doorway into the music industry, at least rubbing elbows with these people and then eventually working with them. And I feel like you did the same thing with this agency side where you found this power partner, as I've heard you say on other shows, who helped you kind of get into the door. Now you got some clients on your own, but what really was the explosion point?
Yeah. So, and actually what I used to teach what's called Power Partners, and I don't know if I'll ever revive that and like teach it again, but Power Partners to me has always been like, I've always been in these situations and I put myself there, but like where something had to work and not work a little bit, like a couple $1,000s ain't going to fix my problems. Like, I need this to work and I need it to work fast. So like the whole concept of, again, I'm trying to go to the top of the food chain as quickly as possible. So if I need to get a Slim Thug, I'm not trying to pass my CDs out and hope Slim Thug hears my music. No. Oh, he works at a personal trainer. I'm going to that personal trainer. And then, so figured that out. That worked. When it came to the agency, I got that first client February 13th or February 14th. I'm off by one day at max. But when I landed that $1,500 client, again, had to make it work. And shout out to Jeff Miller, because like my first campaigns were bombing. When I landed that client, like at the time, I'd made that money, which helped me get caught up on my car. But then the other thing, I sold my gun, which I always had to have on me at the studio. Again, it's probably too much information, but like, just the emotional attachment, I had that because that was like my protection in the music industry. Basically, I sold that so I could afford Jeff Miller's course, which helped me run great campaigns. But anyways, I was watching every video of Jeff Miller's up to like 4 a.m., made the campaign work. And when I got to the point where, oh, you made a sell off my leads, cool. Do you know anybody else that has this same system? Like, because I got a system for this thing. And I just started asking for referrals like that. Cause it's like, again, $1,500 isn't going to fix my circumstances. Like that got my car payment caught up. I'm trying to get out this freaking basement. Like my back hurts. Like I'm tired of listening to my dad snore. I'm tired of having to go work at Hertz Donuts in the middle of the night. So I went to my client and I was like, hey, if you know anybody, my price, I gave you a special deal, but my price is $2,500 a month. But if you send me somebody, I'll give you $1,000. So like basically I just cooked my referral fee into the price. He sent me somebody else. Guess what? My system worked. And then same thing, like I crushed it for that guy. And then I asked the same question. That guy was like, hey, do you know anybody? Da, 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 da. I'll give you guys $1,000, whoever. And I always present it in the same way too. Is like, so if you were my client, it's like, hey, do you know anybody that has the same technology, the same system that might benefit from this? If so, we pay a referral fee. I'll give you $1,000. If you send me 10 people, I'll pay you $10,000. However you want, cash, PayPal, doesn't matter. But I always kind of say it in that same way. But when I said that to them, they were partners and they were doing this chiropractic seminar thing in Nashville, Tennessee. So they invited me out there. They're like, hey, it's going to be like 30 doctors. They're all 7 or 8 figure producers. Like, can you speak? I was like, yep. Like I just said, yeah, before I even knew what the hell they were talking about. And then like, I had nothing prepared. Like this was like 2 weeks into like maybe 3 weeks into me, like actually running marketing for 2 clients or something, and went out there. And like, it was cool. Dr. Hoover, Dr. Maselli, shout out to those guys again, instrumental in my success. Got to give credit where credit's due. But went out there and like I had nothing prepared up until the hour before I was like supposed to present. I was like, who am I? Like I'm broke. Like what am I going to teach these 7 and 8 figure earners? Like they wanted me to present on how to pick a good marketing company. I'm like, I don't know any other marketing company. All I know is me. So I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to bump it up to like, I'll give you $1,000 for each. But like, if you guys help me close at least 10 people, I'll give you guys extra $5,000 if you help me write this presentation. Like you guys know what you want to hear. I didn't tell him I had no clue. I was just like, if you guys help me, like I'll make it extra worth your while. Can you help me put this together? Because you guys would know what you want to hear. They helped me put together a presentation. They hyped me up before I went up there. I was so nervous. Like my lips were sticking to my gums because my mouth was so dry for like the first 30 minutes. I'm like talking, I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. But they started listening. And then I think they saw that I got nervous. So one of them came, like, oh yeah, Jeff's been running our marketing for like 2 weeks. He's got 119 leads already turned this into like $20,000. And then they started listening. And then I was like, oh, okay. Influence. Okay. Like it was all starting to click in my head. And then after that, it was like those table rushes you hear about, much smaller scale, but like I got done and then everybody like comes sitting by me. Hey, so what do you think you could do? How do you think you could help us? We're in Kentucky. We're da, 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 da. I'm like, oh, I closed $30,000 in business the next week, like 30 grand. Like I told my mom, again, she thought I was doing something illegal. Jeffrey, is this legal? Like, cause she's like, I barely make that in a year. Like, I'm like, man, like I know this internet money is crazy. But then again, like when I see that type of stuff works, like I'm telling everybody about a referral program. I don't know why so many businesses, agency owners, doesn't matter. Like they don't ask their clients for business. Like if I have a good experience or I give you a good experience and I like working with you as a client, I always have this rule. It's like a rule in life. Birds of a feather flock together. You generally are going to know somebody that operates like you. You can send them my way. And then the other big mistake I see is people like, oh, here's a couple $100 for a referral fee. No. Like throw a comma in there. Like, hey, here's $1,000. If you're not charging enough to accommodate that, charge more to accommodate that, because that gets people to listen. You say a couple $100 to like a business owner, a real business owner, doesn't excite me. I spend that every night on dinner. Like doesn't excite me. You throw a comma in, $1,000. Oh, if I send you 10, you get $10,000. And like that, I noticed that verbiage like really inspires people to send you people. Like I bought a guy a golf cart. I've retired a doctor before. Was it your bank? Oh yeah. Sorry. My cameraman's queuing me up. He's like, you remember this? My bank, I had a small bank in Wichita, Brad. I was making so much money, like within that 6 months, like from going from broke, that they ran my credit without telling me. And then basically they thought I was doing something illegal. So they ran my credit and basically limited what I could do in my account. So like I went to Chase, shout out Chase. They've been throwing me credit lines like crazy. Thank y'all. Growth has been great. But yeah, that little bank, they started running my credit, started questioning me. Like every week they calling me, hey, what is this? Oh, can you provide a contract? These are things your payment processor should ask you, not your bank. And I'd done so much business in buying cars previously with them. It was just like crazy to me. But yeah, it's just weird how life-changing that 6 months was for me. But
Yeah.
Yeah, ask for
Does
referrals.
Jeff Miller know that you sold your gun to buy his course?
I know I've mentioned it before. Oh, you bought the gun? Oh, that's right. Sorry, this is crazy. It's like reliving history for me. So my cameraman Ian now, which he does a lot more than that, but he was the one that bought it. I had to sell it. But anyway, I sold it to him and then I ended up buying it back from him when I got more money. So, anyways, but Jeff Miller, he might know that. I feel like I've mentioned that in at least an interview. I don't know if it was the one
That
with him
seems
or
like
not.
the big headline right there. Sold my gun to buy buy his course.
Yeah, that would be a real good headline. I don't know if it'd fly on Facebook or
Yeah.
not, but
So you start making sales that way, and then is it just like upward trend from there, or do you have some bumps along the way?
oh, definitely bumps. To this day, there's always still bumps. Like I think they say more money, more problems. Like that is true, but like don't take it like I don't want to make a lot of money because I'm a lot of problems. But cool thing is, more money you have to solve those problems. But like just more money and like building a bigger business, like definitely equates to whether that's infrastructure problems. Because like the thing the highlight was I made $102,000 in August. The low light was the following month I only made $60,000 or $68,000, like because I got so busy that I forgot to bill. It was like 12-ish clients. It was about $36,000 that I forgot to bill because like I was stuck trying to fulfill all these new clients. And I didn't want to, like, I was new. Also, the type of person I am, like, I don't want to go to him like, oh, I forgot to bill you. Can you pay me for 2 months now? Like, I didn't think that was going to fly. So I just ate it. This was around the time, this is literally the month that I got HighLevel because, like, this was all when I was first doing this. I was trying to do ClickSend and Zapier and all this stuff. That's why I couldn't fulfill it very well. And again, trying to be a macho entrepreneur, like, oh, I don't need employees. Like, let me just put more money in my pockets. Stupid idea. Cost me 40 grand in 1 month, 36. But so there was that issue. Then we got that infrastructure. And then I created the Super Zap where I automated everything when somebody onboarded. I know an affiliate that got really, really big selling my Super Zap that I taught them and they didn't give credit. So you know who you are. But anyways, so that was like one of the first problems. The other problem became is like, we got really good at what we did. But the problem that in the marketing world that we faced is you can generate all the leads in the world. I can get them to prepay for you. You're going to mess up the sales process. And then whose fault is it? It's not yours because you don't do anything wrong. It's my fault. So then we started to learn very quickly that we were dropping clients because they weren't closing deals. And it was because the leads were bad quality and stuff like that. So, I had to deal with that and figure out the churn issue. And then we fixed and solved that problem. Then when people saw how big we got and like, dang, Jeff's making a lot of money. And even doctors that we were working with, like, I've had to send cease and desist letters to like our old clients because they're like, "Oh, he's making a lot of money doing this. I'm going to stop docting, or whatever they call it, and I'm going to start a marketing agency." So that's happened like literally 7, 8 times. And then there was one time where like a doctor partnered with a distributor. My life is like a movie. I'm starting to think about this now, just the stuff we've been through. So we got big, had a pretty good like chokehold on our industry. Then a doctor got the bright idea to rip off everything we were doing and start selling it as, hey, we can do everything Plus Plus is doing, but cheaper. And then they partnered with a distributor, which the distributor is like, hey, they're offering to pay me this. If you don't pay me this, we're going to push all the business that way. And I was like, you ain't extorting me. Like, whatever. Like, but they did end up taking a lot of business. We got down to like 4 clients. Like, this is after making like over $1 million, like in this, like thinking I had like on top of the mountain, this ain't going away. Got down to like 4 clients and I have like a big staff. And then it was like, man, I don't even want to deal with this stuff. So I created a sales training program, started crushing it with that. And the thing was like, sorry, I'm really reliving all this in my head. Like I see myself sitting on the floor against my wall. Like, what am I going to do? Do I got to get rid of people? Do I got to create something new to sell? But I created a sales training program and I was like, I don't even want to deal with this like marketing stuff. Like, I don't even want to mess with it because it's like they come, they go, they switch. If their friend starts a marketing company, they're going to go try it. They just try every new shiny object. F this stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put together sales training. And then I swallowed my pride and I was like, you know what? Let me go to this other people that came in, partnered with the distributor. I was like, that was my fault for letting them slip in. Like, I should have put some more safeguards in place, which we do now. So good luck to y'all trying to do some funny stuff. But anyways, I went to them and I was like, hey, I'm only going to do sales training. I don't want to do the marketing. Let's create an ecosystem where I push them to you for marketing. You push them to me for sales training. And I have all these Zooms. I have all these receipts. Like I have all this stuff. So anyways, but they were like, no, I remember the dude's wife in the back. We have our own sales training program. They suck, by the way. Y'all are horrible. But anyways, they said no. 2 weeks later, like I literally was selling a $6,000 program, closed 42 people into it, $240,000 in business in 2 weeks, crushing it for my clients within like the next 30 days to the point where they came back to me. I was like, hey, you're doing this sales training program. You're getting great results. We'd like to reconsider like partnering up with you. And of course, man, I try to play nice. If I come to you trying to play nice, you better take it because that's the only chance you're ever going to get to play nice with me. But if you show me you want to be like, a competitor, good luck because I don't lose. And that's what happened. So like we ended up putting them out of business and the distributor, like to where I went to the manufacturer and like actually cut them out. They're no longer distributor. So like I only say all that, and I might have been very theatrical, but like I just remember this stuff so like vividly. But these are like all the ups and downs like that I've had to face, and I like still face. Like again, tons of marketing clients, then people try to rip you off. Now to the point, like my marketing team knows like that they run it. Like if people aren't trying to knock us off and stealing our creatives, which we watermark and they still use them with our plus plus logos on there, which is crazy. They just make it easy for us to go after them. But if they're not copying us, I know we're not going hard enough. So it really taught me to stay on my toes, even when we already have the game in a stronghold. But I mean, that happened. I'm trying to think what else. There's all kinds of stuff always pops up.
What exactly are you helping people with? I know that you're getting them clients, but what's like the process of that?
The process, like
So your target client right now is a doctor in what area?
gotcha. Yeah. So 75% of our clientele, like in my main business plus the agency, we service chiropractors, 75% of them. The rest are like some MDs, which are medical doctors, and then some like pretty much anything in the health and wellness business. But what we specifically specialize in is we sell red light therapy technology, specifically Contour Light, which is the world's first and only device of its kind that's FDA cleared for circumferential reduction, which is a big fancy way of shrinking the body. So we sell them those systems. We also have a marketing program on the back of that where, okay, now you got the system, you need to get bodies through the door so you could try this. So we generate leads for them. We get them to prepay for these, their first treatment. And then we teach them how to sell them into average of $2,000 packages. So we serve chiropractors and teach them how to add a staff-driven profit center to their practice in a nutshell. So,
and I've found a lot of people, because we had agencies in the past in our business, and you have really found a way to find people that have a high ticket offer that they can sell. And then in turn, you can have a high priced offer to them that solves their problem. So it's a win-win for everyone. You can charge enough to pay those referral fees to the partners. You can also have enough to build a team and staff. And a lot of times, as you mentioned, the competitors that were trying to step in are trying to do the same thing, but then cut the price, and eventually it's a race to the bottom. So you now have kind of going with that power
Power Partners.
Thank you. The power partner side, you have a doctor that you work with. Is it one doctor primarily that you're doing this with, or
one main one? Which the cool thing is, we just made him an offer he couldn't refuse to close his clinic in California and move down here and work with us so we can be more hands-on together. But I do have probably 5 to 7 docs that will routinely send me business. So yeah, and again, the reason I do that too is I noticed very quickly that, Jeff can be the greatest marketer in the world, but in an industry, like they want to talk shop with another person that's actively doing the exact same thing as them. So like when I can have my docs talk about and use the exact verbiage that they would use and all the same struggles and pain points and, even go back to the days of school and stuff they had to go through, they just bond a lot quicker. And then it's easier to, close them into a deal because they know we really speak their language.
Yeah. And you've done a really good job of vertically integrating. I know that's kind of a buzzword, but basically finding multiple points along their journey to supply a service or a physical product, and then convert that into sales. So you not only sell the device or have partnered or taken some equity in a company that sells devices, but then once they have the device and they are struggling with sales, then you step in with the agency side and help them on that side. So it's just a win-win throughout that journey.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've again, shout out to Russel Brunson. Like our kind of top of funnel right now is getting them in to add this staff-driven profit center because it really is hands off for them. But then we stack our offer. Like they get the device. It includes a month of marketing. So they get to experience our services. We even pay their ad spend. We give them our supplements, 10 kits, which is good for $25,000 in revenue. We teach them exactly how to sell it. So we hook them from the beginning by giving them all our services at once. And the majority of them stay on all the services. Every once in a while, somebody might go to a different supplement company, which is fine. Somebody might, not partake in the advanced sales training past 60 days or whatever it is that we give them. But yeah, we really just provide a comprehensive solution. And that wasn't like how much money can we squeeze out of these people? It was like, okay, we're going to get them this device because it gets results. If you can get results for a client, it's easy to sell them into a bigger package. This is the only device we want to work with. So we got that partnership struck with them. We sell that to docs. They absolutely need marketing. And the fact that I've been able to partner with them, but also niche down, I spent over $1 million of my own money, like refining this program. There's nothing out there that's better in the body contouring world, period. I would put this up against anything out there, period. They're not going to find a better service. And so, but what we started to see, same thing, no matter how many prepaid appointments I get you, no matter how educated the person coming through your door is about the service, knowing exactly what to expect that day, if you don't close them, it looks bad on me. So then we provided sales training, which is another opportunity for us to make money because I don't know who said it. It might have been Russel Brunson, somebody else, but people that don't pay attention. When they pay, the more they pay, the more attention they pay. So when we get them these things and charge for it, they value it more. So they're selling more packages. And then the next, I guess, choke point was, okay, I'm selling them a body contouring package. A lot of people are doing supplements with this to get better results. What supplements should I go with? And it used to be you ask 10 different docs in our industry, what supplements, you get 10 different answers. Now it's like, hey, here's our proven like model. Like it is literally a blueprint. Use this system, use this marketing, use these package, prices, use these supplements. You don't have to think about it. It's like I have created the easiest path of resistance, or I guess least path of resistance, to sell high ticket packages. So that's why we were able to go so vertically integrated. But it's like I can't teach 10 different supplements. I don't know what each one of these does. I can't teach 10 different ways of pricing. It's like, nah, here's the model that works. We made all these people all this money following this program. You should probably follow it too. And there's just a mountain of proof that backs that up.
And it's so key too what you said about, and it's a commonly used phrase, but people who pay attention, people who don't pay attention, however you want to phrase it. And I have struggled a lot in our business of wanting to over deliver, wanted to give a lot of free things away. And that feels good, right? Because you're giving a lot of content out there. But oftentimes we'll put something out long form, like something everyone's been asking for. And I'm going to say, we're not going to charge anything for this. We're just going to put it out on YouTube. And then you look at the engagement rate of that. How many people actually went through that thing? Even
Very
if
low.
you make very low. I mean, less than 1%.
Versus if you charge, everybody's paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, and even that sometimes you'll find somebody pays 10 grand and they don't go through it. But it's just that the argument a lot of people have is you should make this free. And then we do that. And then oftentimes you'll see that nobody even took advantage of it anyway.
Yeah, well, see, it's the people, and again, no disrespect to anybody out there. Like I've just seen everything. Like I've been through everything. I've also, like I said, I've been at extreme highs, making tons of money in my 20s to like broke. Literally, like there was a week, I don't even mention I slept in my car in a Walmart parking lot before I ended up going back to my grandparents' basement in Kansas. So I only say that because, again, you got to charge, because people will not take it serious. The same people that are preaching this should be free, guess what? They're not doing anything. They're not charging enough. They're not making a lot of money. They're not helping people the best that they could. They're just collecting information. And like the more free information they get, the more it clouds their mind and they don't do anything with it. Versus like the people that really have problems and it hurts, like me. Like I sold my gun. Like that was a big investment to me because I had no money. My money was $20 every few days. My mom giving me money and like eating off gas station food. So like doing that to buy a information product wasn't like ideal for my conditions. But at the same time, I was like, I'm broke. I need to fix this. This guy knows what he's doing. And I consumed every last minute of that Jeff Miller stuff and I put it to action. If that would have been free, and there probably was free stuff, but like there's just something psychologically, if it's free, it can't be that good. If it's a really expensive, and go back to Dan Kennedy, like he talks about just raising your prices. Like if you can raise your price, he's like half of a salesman's job is just saying the highest price they can think of without cracking a smile. It really is. And that sounds bad, but at the same time, he's like, there's been times where I've raised my fee by 20 or 50 grand because I didn't want to do something. And they say yes, but then they also pay attention because they're paying such a high fee. And I have seen that in my business. Like my sales training program, when I first released it, it was free with our marketing. Guess how many people went through it? Not many at all. They were still complaining about lead quality. Then I charged $2,000, which I got like one person that like went from on the borderline of like bankruptcy to $83,000 in a month, which was great because that was my testimonial that catapulted us to huge success. But as soon as I raised it above $6,000, we have 100% success rate of people going through that program and getting the result. And I say 100%, there's only one person that I could think of that didn't get the result, but they know that they didn't show up to the calls, like, and we gave them multiple opportunities to, but that's the only person that never got the result because it hurt to pay. There's literally been times where like on the phone, where I remember a guy out in Utah, a doc, and I was talking to him and he's like, man, Jeff, I don't know. Like, I'm literally gonna have to tap into my 401k, pull some money out, da, 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 da. I'm like, all right, but like your job, like if you have a product, like I feel like it is your duty to, as long as you have a good product, but like, I feel like your life is not better off without my product. Like your life will be immensely better, whether that's your business or whatever I'm selling you. If I don't wholeheartedly believe that, then I'm not going to sell you it.
Right.
But when I do, and like I said, that guy, as soon as I took down his credit card info after he made this transfer or whatever, the phone went dead. And then like I called him back, it didn't answer. But then I called him back and he's like, Jeff, I'm already having buyer's remorse. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I was freaking out because I just like billed him $7,500. But anyways, he was one of my best case studies, like terrified to spend this money, had to make it work. Like it was like do or die, literally. And then made like $22,000 in 30 days. And his goal was 10. And I told him that was baby money. I was like, man, I can do that in my sleep. Like I could teach a dog to do that. He made 22.5 and we got a testimonial out of him, which fueled more sales, but he became a believer. And I know that's, sorry, I answer
No,
things in long-winded
I
ways,
think
but
that's the core though, is having quality of product, making sure that you know that that product works. In the early days, you sold a funnel for 297, you were still figuring it out,
yeah.
and then working your way through all the nights that you spent toiling away at how do we make the system better? How do we make sure that people are getting results? And then partnering with people, learning the process. Like there's a lot that goes into that whole thing. And then as you know that that works, then being totally confident in delivering the product, but also charging fairly for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you put that really, really well. Cause yeah, like a lot of people, especially like in the agency world, like people are scared to command these high prices. It's like, oh, I'm just building a funnel or I'm just setting up basic automations. But like to a normal business owner that's like taking every last call, that they're going around putting flyers and windshields or like having the sign flipper, doing everything they can to draw business, like you're shortcutting their journey to success like immensely. Like we just built a guy $15,000 to build out a automation and AI solution, but we found out he was manually contacting all his leads, manually having to hop on calls with all these people, qualify them. A lot of times they were not qualified to begin with. So it was a wasted hour conversation. And he's trying to do this at scale. And you can't do that at scale. There's only so many hours in the day. So when we pitched him on he thought, like I broke down the payment schedule and somehow he thought it was $30,000 and still said yes, and I told him, I was like, you can absolutely pay that. But, I only said 15 grand. But he just understood that like it shortcuts his journey so fast. But like to an agency owner, like in our world, like that may sound like a simple build, but like you don't understand like how many like blood, sweat, tears literally went into like me learning how to get these automations. And then also like understanding on the flip side as a business owner, like how hard it is to do these things at scale without this type of thing. So like his deals, if he's selling $5,000 deals, he sells 3 more because of us in a year, it's paid for. But honestly, he's probably going to do that every week, if not every, couple of weeks. So like that was a bargain for him. And that's what you got to think about it. What does it actually bring to people? What you said earlier about like finding people with high ticket services. That's why I love doctors, like, cause I know what they should be charging. So I can teach them how to charge better if they're not. But I know that like my services pay for themselves just with one sale. Or like, if I'm selling high ticket coaching, if I get you 4 people this month, like it's paid for. If I do that every month, like you 10x your investment. Like it's crazy. So.
Yeah, I love that. So now you are expanding because you've seen the power of AI and you've seen chatbots. And we just had um, somebody from your team, Charles, on talking all about bot building and
Mhm.
the excitement around that. Why have you grasped onto that, and what are you excited about?
Well, so, oh man, first off, yeah, AI is crazy. And I'm not talking about like just chat GPT, but like actually integrating it into a business. When I saw what this technology did, like I dropped everything. I was like, all right, who do we need to hire, find, consult with to figure this stuff out? But like I had a lot of success in the chiropractic industry. And of course, you have like family members that always come to you, like, help me grow my business, or like other agency owners like want to learn from you, like, how can I apply this to my industry? And I've seen that my tactics, I've usually actually used my body contouring sales training program and gave it to a car detailer and took them to over $1 million. And I didn't tailor it to car detailing. They took that and just adapted it for their industry. So I was like, this works from doctors to detailers. And then so we started testing that theory in other industries and it worked. But when we started using AI, it was like, oh, like this actually helps us find the right verbiage to talk to these people. So like I don't have to take the time to learn the industry, like the 5 years it took me to learn body contouring and chiropractic. It doesn't take that long. I can shortcut that with AI because it has such a vast knowledge base. But then also I can build it with our strategies that I learned over the literally spending $30 million in ads, millions of dollars in graphics and all this stuff testing to see what works. I can load all that information into these bots and basically adapt it for any business. Like I would say like that, pretty close to like that. And we started testing it. And I tested it on my sister's daycare business. I tested it on an electric company. We're doing this in the life insurance space, real estate. And usually when you jump into a new industry, and the reason I never did is because I tried to before. Like I tried to just go to like gym owners, but it was like, I gotta learn this lingo. I gotta learn what's the offer that works. What do people respond to? And it took so long. But when I started using AI to do these things, I found out very quickly. And then the fact that AI can now conversate with people, like I can get pain points from these clients, I can recycle that into the marketing, I can do all this like automatically. So I was like, oh my gosh, like if people knew about this, like every business needs, it's like oxygen. So like it is my like mission to get this out to as many businesses as possible, because I've just seen how life changing it can be. And like if you've been a business owner, which you have, like you know the struggle of like sometimes it's feast or famine. Sometimes it's like, do I pay my employees? Do I pay my mortgage? And just trying to get as many people out of that situation and show them that if you just have the right sales process and the right automation, you don't have to work 9 to 9 every day. You don't have to miss those kids' recitals, those holidays, those birthdays, those anniversaries, and you can do just fine if you leverage the right tools. So
Yeah, that's something we talked about with Charles is the fact that people are calling into businesses 24/7 sometimes just to try to get answers, or they're scrolling on the website or whatever, and you can deliver those clients up on a silver platter for that business owner and still provide them the free time to spend with their family and do all the things that they want to, and just say, "Hey, wake up tomorrow, you're going to have 10 new appointments booked. Some of them may even be prepaid. Walk into your clinic." In your case, for the clients you serve, it's just an incredible opportunity. We've played a lot with AI in the graphic space, and it's really uh, emerging in a lot of different areas. And I find that I don't want it to ever say that it's going to replace people, even though yes, that will be a byproduct of what's going to
eventually, yeah.
happen. But a lot of those front end tasks are going to be done by AI, so that those people that are handling those things can be reallocated to provide a better experience in other parts of the business, or maybe they end up moving on to doing something else. But I just think it's an exciting time to provide great service and build more profitable points into a business.
Absolutely. And then the other thing, like as you were talking there, like it just kind of like brings me back to, I mean, I wasn't around for like when the American dream, that term came up, but like a lot of people wanted to start a business like to provide that not only financial freedom for their business or their family, but like also time freedom. And I know so many business owners that like, I started a business because I didn't want to work for anybody. And I don't know who the quote was from, but it was like entrepreneurs are the only ones that will work 100 hours a week in their business just so they don't have to work 40 hours a week for,
Somebody
somebody
else. Yeah.
else. But like AI is, it's like the first point since, business wasn't so saturated that people can literally work a normal schedule and have AI do the heavy lifting. Cause like, again, being a business owner, whether you're just getting started or have that payroll to make, like you're not having to hustle and like make sure you take every call, make sure you respond to everybody. Like you can offload these tasks to, I mean, a computer, for lack of a better term, that will do it as good, if not better than you or your best salesperson. So you can focus on whether that's quality time with the family or like those things that you envisioned when you started your own business. Like it actually enables that again, which again, everybody's starting a business these days. Everything's super competitive. There is no such thing as the American dream without a lot of work and toil. So this is kind of leveling the playing field again. It's kind of like a reset, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, I love everything you guys are doing. I am so appreciative you let me into your cool space here. And I just see you as a man of action. You take some action, then you figure it out as you go. You kind of build the plane as you as it's going,
Yeah.
or whatever the term is. So what are some things you want to recommend to people? Like how can people find about your companies? I know you have a big AI group coming up and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So if you're a business owner, like just go to plusplus.com. We got a lot of resources on there, some free. There's also, you can hire us if you need more advanced stuff done. The new thing that we're starting is geared toward businesses and agencies alike, but we're doing a group called the AI Agency. So now it says agency, but really business owners can, join that. We're going to teach you how to incorporate AI technology into a business because again, I want to help as many businesses as possible. And one-to-one is cool, but like everybody needs this, and like the faster they get it the better. So if you go to a Facebook group or our Facebook group, the AI Agency, I think it's facebook.com/groups/the AI Agency, you'll find our group. Join that because we're going to teach you how to integrate this stuff into your business, whether you're an agency owner doing it for other businesses or if you're a business that needs this technology. But you'll see exactly how to integrate it to offload a lot of the manual labor that you're doing, generate more sales, more revenue, and really just more. We say more sales, more revenue, more sleep, because usually those don't go hand in hand. So it's like offload the work, but increase productivity at the same time. So yeah, find us there, plusplus.com.
Awesome. Jeff Lopez, thank you so much for coming on the show. Hopefully, you guys all take advantage of joining that group because AI definitely is the future, and check out what Plus Plus has going on. And we'll hopefully have you on the show again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.